Hey guys, Crystal here for Makers Gonna Learn, and we're gonna be doing some layering die cuts. Let's get started. Hey guys, all right, we are getting ready to download the first fonts. We're in the Makers Gonna Learn. You have your subscription. You're gonna be able to grab all these beautiful fonts. So we are going to use Hey There, which is a beautiful scripty kind of font. So we're gonna type Hey There. We're going to search it, and then we're going to download it and install it. And be sure that when you install it that you close out your browser for it to really upload. So we're going to go back onto Cricut Design Space, and we have a blank ready to go set here, and we're going to click text. And like I said, if you have closed your browser after you installed it, it should be ready to go. So we're going to click the fonts, and it will be under your system fonts. Cricut are the ones that you purchase. So again, there's a huge value, and it's not showing how beautiful it is, but that's the one we're going to select. So we're going to be doing some layering cuts. We're going to type hello, and as you can see, it's totally going to keep these guys separate, and so we want to be able to mesh them back together. So we're going to select them, then we're going to go to advanced, and we're going to ungroup the letters, and this is going to allow us to really get these guys into that hand lettered script that we're searching for, and it's going to look like cursive. So we're going to go, we have that hello ready to go. We're going to select all of it, and we're going to weld it so that way you have one large piece, and then we're going to make it quite large. So my card is going to be 5.5 by 4.25, and I want this to be the main focus of the card. So here gives you the idea of how tall and how big this is going to be. So we're going to go ahead and die cut this 3 times. We're going to go and make sure that it's going to pop up, and we want to do this 3 times. And the more layers you do, the thicker it's going to look, and it's going to be super cool. So you can do the 4, and it's going to cut it, and then we're going to cut this out of just some regular cardstock, and we're going to begin making it. Alright guys, so we have trimmed that out, and this is the negative of it, and look how fun. I think this would be a really fun stencil, so you can do some stenciling with the cutouts. We're going to set it aside, and I have all my die cuts ready to go. And as you can see, the first one's always going to be the cleanest, and if you find that you have little snags, you need to change out your blade, but you can fold them down. You can even grab a little nail file and file down the little snags here. Okay, so we have all 4 of them, and we're going to start layering in just a minute, but let me show you what else we're going to be using. So I have a very basic stencil and a piece of white cardstock, and we're going to be doing some ink blending in the background, and then we're going to layer these guys, add some Nuvo drops, and makes it really glossy, and it's just going to be super fun. So we're going to begin by placing our white cardstock onto our surface. I'm going to create a little of this background tape to hold it down so my stencil doesn't move, and neither does my cardstock. And I am using just purple tape. If you have painter's tape, I think most of us do, you can use that as well. Just make sure that you touch it several times to have the oil from your skin onto the back of them, and that way it doesn't tear up your cardstock. So we're going to place that down. So now the stencil is pretty firm. We're going to begin with our ink blending. So my thought was that we would do a rainbow card. Is just a very fun, easy, hello, happy card. We're going to begin by using some purple ink, and we're going to do the ink blending. And I kind of just want to do solid lines, but when it's all said and done, it's going to end up becoming the circle because that's the shape of the stencil. So you can use any inks that you may have, or even watercolors. And then if you don't have a stencil at hand, I will be showing you how to make one in our next videos, and I'm sure that Tanner has one here on how to DIY some stencils. So we're going to move on to our next color, which it's a boy, and I'm just using these ink blenders, and I love how they have the color already, so you know that you're using the right color for your specific ink, and it just allows you to not have so many different versions of different ink blenders and having these colors mix. You can do in whatever range or order you want your rainbow. As I said, this is just rainbow inspired, not necessarily following along the same rainbow colors, just kind of using all the colors and blending these into these cards. So we're going to continue on. We're going to do orange twist, which is just an orange. And I have my caddy holding them down. And so again, this is a very easy way to create an evergreen hello card, super easy, by stacking all your die cuts. And then we're going to, last but not least, we're going to be using this green. And the really fun about blending colors is that it doesn't look so odd when you're using different colors that are not in the same rainbow order or color wheel order. So if you have a color selection or favorite color that you're sending a card to, you can just have them, you can just use that specific color. So now we have a super happy stenciled card that is ready to go, and now we're going to begin layering our hello. So I'm going to leave that there. We're going to grab some clear glue and then really sort out your hellos. And I'm going to start with the most one that has the little snags from my blade, which ended up being the last one just because it had several cuts. And I am using an 120-pound cardstock, which I ended up having to put my Cricut onto poster board so I'd be sure that it would go through. Using liquid glue, preferably clear, but if you don't have clear, you could just use white. We're going to add some glue all the way, and liquid glue will really allow you to shift around the cut that we have created with the Cricut. And as I had mentioned earlier in our Cricut Design Space tutorial, this is the Hey There font. So we're going to grab another one. I'm going to flip this over. And again, don't worry too much about alignment at this point until a little bit later, just because the liquid glue won't dry instantly and it'll allow you to do some of the shifting, as you can see. This would be a great way to create some signage as well. I'm going to move this over just a bit so we don't get it full of glue. So instead of vinyl, you could use paper as well. If you want that look, that 3D look, you can just stack your papers. And I'm going to show you here in a minute how we're going to use Nouveau drops to really raise, give it some dimension, and give it some gloss as well. So we're going to add the H. And I found that this Hey There font, it was really easy to weed out. There wasn't a ton of little pieces and everything wasn't a round cut, so it was really nice. And continue on. And so you can allow it to dry in between layers if you choose. I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to add our last layer of glue. And again, if you end up using too much, you could just go ahead and clean it up with a paper towel. And I love making cards with my Cricut using the Maker's Gonna Learn fonts, just because the possibilities are endless. I mean, you can go from hello to hi or thanks or anything, any specific card that you want to create. You can make holiday cards, Valentine's Day, whatever it is that you're seeking. You can just type out the sentiment on the design space and then do it and have it cut out. All right, so as you can see, we have a really nice, really thick die cut, super fun, and we're just going to place this over. So for this part, we're going to grab more of our liquid glue, and we're going to just add a couple drops. And this is permanent glue, so once it's dry, it's dry for good. So be sure to get all these little angles because it is heavy. And then when you do end up mailing your card, you will find that you will have to pay a little bit of extra postage. We're going to press it down. And if you see glue on that front, that's totally okay. So I am not seeking to do any matte. I really want to make this nice and glossy. So I have my Nouveau Jewel drops, which is just kind of like the sickles. You could get this at Hobby Lobby. And depending on what color, I'm going to do this gray mist over the black. You could do clear, you could do glitter. And we're just going to follow along. And as it warms up, it's going to self-level, which is really kind of fun to watch. So you don't have to worry about too many air bubbles on this. And it really takes your very simple card to a whole different level. And guys, as I finish this up, I want to thank you so much for joining us today with Maker's Gonna Learn. And we are creating layered die cuts for your cards using the Maker's Gonna Learn fonts, Hey There, and then just some simple stenciling. I'm going to finish this up. And again, super easy card. Okay, that does it. We're going to let this dry and we are ready to make our next card. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.